this is one of those that is just like almost perfect. Hey everybody, Josh RV Nerd of Bish's RV down here at Keystone today. At your request, this is one of the ones that I had on my hit list to get some update footage on here. The 25MLE, yeah, you know me, Cougar. It comes in 30 foot 1 inch. Tip to tail, front to back, 30 foot 1 inch. It gives us, I guess you wouldn't necessarily call it a super slide, but it gives us a dedicated theater seat and dedicated dinette and private front RV king bed in like 30 feet with really good counter space. This is a dynamite floor plan. It has near flawless road mode travel access. It has a 0 to 110 degree rated weather tested proven weather package, available auto leveling, fifth wheel style, large front drop frame with huge storage cavity. Enclosed docking station like a fifth wheel, the suspension package of a fifth wheel, Goodyear Endurance radials with anti-lock braking and electronic anti-sway, and a rubberized shock dampener suspension system, enhancement to the leaf spring, rear receiver hitch to, if you want to add a bike rack or generator tray or whatever you want. Factory included roof ladder, so you don't got to get something separate and eat up some storage space to get you up to a very walkable roof, which has a 220 watt solar panel, which also has a better grade of charge controller included with it. And this year, they've gone to like luxury fifth wheel grade high gloss fiberglass, which you almost never see in travel trailers, and it is truly giving it that sort of standout premium class look. It looks at a glance, if you see it next to other travel trailers, like, is that a paint package? What is that? And it's not. It's just a better grade of fiberglass that looks fantastic. Now, they've gone back to a warmer HOA brown tone decor. I'm very curious to know what people think about that. I think a lot of folks were getting tired of the farmhouse look, and I appreciate the Cougars doing their best to kind of stick with the trends. But as we go, let me know, what do you think about her? And I've been asking a couple times on the more recent Cougars, but they've been rocking that farmhouse decor for a number of years, and they softened it up and warmed it up just a little bit. The first time I saw this, my knee jerk was, it kind of feels like it's 3 or 4 years old. But like the more I've been in this, the more it's growing on me. I'm not super specific on decors, though. I'm pretty easygoing, frankly, on most things. But about the only thing I'm not okay with is when somebody insults my family. That's about the only thing I can never get revved up about. Before I get too far along, I want to point out just the little things, the little, shoe mat right when you walk in the door, little Cougar thing. Cougar in Montana seem to be doing that. And the little clutter cutter shoe garage they're doing right there. It's just nice little thoughtful touches that they're doing in here. And I see a lot of that as I go through this new generation of Cougar RVs here. It's still a conventional 6.5 foot sidewall, but it does have that barreled ceiling, and that really does open it up in here quite a bit. That's a 15,000 BTU dual ducted air, by the way, 2 AC runs, but also has, these are all 50 amp. Every 25MLE is 50 amp. So if the one you see in stock at a dealership does not have second air, you could get a second air slapped onto it. There is an, if I'm not mistaken, an option for a trifold sleeper sofa here. This is a floor flush AccuSlide system. And these are wall hugger theater recliners that we're looking at. But I like, not only do they have the drop down armrest, it gives me a place to keep drinks, although you do need the armrest down to do that. But we also have heat massage with USB, but additionally, more power solutions right here. So if you've got something like an iPad or a laptop and you want more than just a low power USB plug, because one of the things that isn't well discussed and documented in the RV industry is that most USB plugs are very low power, very slow charging. So that's why they also include those household outlets in that right there, so that if you get those like larger laptop, iPad brick chargers, that you can actually, keep your stuff powered up and not have to take breaks from things. They've maintained the 10 cubic foot fridge freezer. Cougar has commonly adopted the policy of sliding the fridge back a little bit in the slide. That does open up the space nicely to make the space feel big. It does mean that if you're taller like me, you need to watch your head on that slide fascia, because otherwise, well, You get the idea. But that doesn't really bother me. Again, I know I'm easygoing. Someone's like one time like, "What does it take to bother you?" Not a lot. I don't care. It's camping. Like I can accept that this isn't ideal necessarily like my house, but some people, they do live in their trailers and maybe they have a little more specificity. That's okay. That's why I make really long videos to help you understand that stuff. I also think a lot of people really like how they did not do a level change on the countertop right here. Sometimes it's the things the manufacturers don't do that deserve notation, and usually it's the things they don't do that get overlooked. And that's a lot of words, I get it, but that just creates maximum easy one level countertop prep space right there. But you're looking at this, you might be going, yeah, but where's my power outlets? The flip side to this equation is those power outlets are, yep, they're exactly where you really don't necessarily want them, under that overhead cabinet right there. But because they use taller overhead cabinets, the gap there is not massive, but I still don't love it. It just kind of is what it is. Now, you might notice they have a little bit of a color shift moving from the kitchen to the living space. That's kind of the logic gap that they have right here. If I'm not mistaken, I think there might be a table and chairs option for this. A lot of your Cougars have that. Certain models like the 22MLS does not, because of where like the water heater is located, but I'm pretty sure you could get a table and chairs on this. Man, I bet that would actually look really good. That is the pedestal post knee knocker dining table, which isn't my favorite, but it's not really hard to change the legs on a table after the fact. Decent campsite window coverage, direct facing smart TV entertainment, albeit mounted a little bit high. One of these days, man. So we invented a thing at Bish's RV, and we actually talked to Moride about potentially distributing it to all kinds of different RV manufacturers. And along the way, I asked them, "Can you please come up with a more accessible solution to allow these like 40-inch smart TVs to drop down for easier viewing, something?" And they seemed receptive to the idea, but hey, we'll see if they do it. And even if they do it, manufacturers have to kind of adopt it, Notice the storage, actually drawers now on the ends of the dinette bench. For years, Cougar was a more premium grade trailer, but they had absolutely the most bare bones basic dinette. A couple years ago, they added some doors, which was great. And now it looks like they've actually got drawers there for easier access. I will come back in a second and open all of that up and give you a look here. We've already kind of seen the theater seat in action a little bit. I want to point out a couple extra little things, though. Like, you see that light switch, the switch panel on the slide side next to that window? Just like your main cabin and just like your bedroom, that actually does have dimmer functions on it. Also, anywhere they can, they use these nice blackout roller shades, which I think just blots out more light. Still using those kind of boxy valences and lambrequins, but it's not nothing. You know what I mean? They didn't let the light bleed through, and if you don't like them, you could always take the boxy things down and do whatever you wanted. Now, in the main kitchen area proper, you don't see a traditional pantry. Because of the shorter nature of this, the way that the kitchen and living room kind of share with one another, they did have to sort of split systems. Here's another thing I need to do a better job of explaining to people. These WIFCO auto detect converters down here. I'll get the question every now and then, can they charge lithium? Yeah. And do they auto detect? Yeah. But also kind of no. Most of the time, they won't fully charge a lithium battery. They'll usually get them up to about 80%. And then it requires the solar package to top them off. Now, unless something has changed, which is possible, and I haven't been updated and or educated on that, that should hold true. But that's not just a Cougar thing. That's just generally going to be an RV industry thing. I need to do more education on lithium. Let me ask you guys, so that I know how to spend my time, would you like me to kind of make like a lithium battery crash course video to sort of help learn about some of that stuff? Because frankly, there's probably more learning that I need to do. I get a lot of questions that I'm not great at answering. I probably need to do it just regardless, but I don't know. Let me know. I like the big space there. If I noticed it looks like Cougar has shrunk their ovens in a lot of models. They used to do a little bit bigger oven. They were one of the few, but it looks like they've maintained an oven where a lot of brands have them, but they've gone smaller. And just giganto space below the sink for wastebaskets. This chunk of space right here, let me slide that kind of shut, is always a little bit tricky to showcase though, because when it's all open, you can't really see all of the drawer capacity that we actually have here. And there's a lot. They give us a lot of drawer space in this thing. You might also notice the door frames themselves are all hardwood. It's a flat wood panel insert, pocket screw lumber core cabinetry with hidden hinges and magnet holdbacks. Just generally speaking, going to give it a good look when everything closes up. Now, something I'm not sure. I'm trying to get better about my home and garden TV names. I believe this is called a fluted glass insert. Or is this reeded or is this fluted? Or is there a difference? I don't know. I'm just wondering how kind of see-through. Not terribly so. I don't know. Sorry. Hang on. I swear there's supposed to be another light here. Keep an eye on that top arch kind of beam there. Aha! I'm like, I know there's supposed to be something else lit up back here. Anyway, speaking of lit up, allow me to tell you about my Uncle Gary. Moving on. You might notice Keystone's gone, well, not Keystone, Cougar specifically, has gone away from a lot of their smart command systems, just adopting just basic physical switches. They just don't tend to fail as much. You know, they're just easier to mess with. And up top here, this is basically our speaker sync up system. You got the Bluetooth button on the left. That'll, you know, if you want to Bluetooth off a phone or a tablet or something, you got the TV button on the right in case you want to listen to the TV through the speaker system here. Sliding our way back around, it looks like, this is probably my fault, I got that bathroom door a little kitty wampus. I got it offset of its little track down there. I'll get that fixed up. Sometimes some of those, if you extend them a little too far, they'll slide that way, and I bumped it on the way through, so that's probably my stupid fault. Notice the heat vent not in the floor here. Yeah, anyway. Porcelain foot flush stool. Decent, fluffy, friendly space. I prefer the towel bar that they're using over the towel Octopus Fight Club rack. I just feel like things get drier better that way. And because of that barreled ceiling, I actually do have pretty decent headroom in here, even despite my size. I'm a little over 6 foot and still wearing my big, thick-soled shoes in this footage. You might notice, too, Cougar, I think it was last year, adopted the Oxygenics shower head right here. If you get on Amazon and you search, this is the #1 highest rated, most popular RV shower head replacement. So Cougar said, why do we make our customers get on Amazon? Why don't we just get them the stuff? And I thought to myself, well, because that just makes way too much darn sense now, doesn't it? Overall, I also think this is really good bathroom execution. You see, wastebasket space, good drawer space here in the bathroom. Stainless sink in the bathroom as well. What you haven't seen is a medicine cabinet, but it's actually recessed into the wall. So it is there. It's just, it's more out of the way and less of a head knocker when you're not using it. And I figure as long as I got certain storage things open, I go ahead and just kick into the storage under the, this is a 70 by 80 RV king bed right here. The base, the box under the bed is 60 by 8, well, it's 60-inch wide. It's queen sized. So if you do want to swap this into a queen, they only ship with the RV King from the factory, but it's very easy to retrofit these into a queen size. Now, to help give you a size reference, I took the sink covers and put them down here in that under the bed space. And across from the bed, you've got another set of easy reach dresser drawers below the big double bonus closet. The trick is, those things are sometimes, when the bed's down, a little bit tricky for me to get to showcase for you. So I thought this would give you another size reference. And then, hey, as long as we got them, why not use those sink covers all over again to kind of showcase the space here. Now, reaching around the corner a little bit, I mentioned we have this bedroom bonus closet. Some manufacturers will use this kind of object as like washer dryer prep. Cougar is not doing that. What I am noticing though, you see that double center beam? They're reinforcing that just so that it doesn't have that sort of weeble wobble effect when you go to open it, which is annoyingly common in the RV industry. So they're trying to make sure everything just feels sturdy, stable. Again, 50 amp service is standard on every 25 MLE. So if you want to add a second air, or it is factory available, it is possible that your dealer already has it in stock that way. I do like how they fully enclose the overhead storage here. And it's actually quite deep. Hold on, let me... There you go. Give you a little, again, size reference point, and it defies gravity. It's easy to get into. It's easy to see. They have their side stands here, for the most part, are wide open. This not shelf, cabinet that comes down, it does have a radius corner so you don't jab yourself. You also have your individual drawers over here. So there's like 6 good dresser drawers in this bedroom space here. Plus, if you don't need hanging storage, they include a removable shelf in those closets right there, so that you kind of have maximum dresser space or hanging space. Plus, you also have the bonus hanging closet across from this, so you get a little bit of all the things, basically. And this is a 70 by 80 king bed, and it dominates the camera frame, obviously. They do maintain the same blackout roller shades here that they have in the living room, by the way. And just to back up a little bit, give you a kind of a look over there, sort of in the closet-ish direction. This floor plan, some of the Cougars don't have a chance to do this, but this floor plan has this wall here where they had some extra space. They were able to put the heat vent in the bedroom in the wall to keep it out of the floor. They're not always able to do that in every area, but they do it where they can. And again, these are a great cold camp proven brand, 0 to 110 degree rated. Cougars actually, you spend most of your time hot climate camping, and they're actually better at that than most. Now, one of the things that drives me nuts here is the name of this trailer is the Cougar Half Ton. That's the name of it. That doesn't mean that all half tons can tow this thing. You see like 6,800 pounds empty. You're like, oh, it seems like I should be able to handle that. 8,800 pound GVW becomes where you really want to pay attention. And with that front drop frame, plus cargo, plus body weight, plus hitching system, this might overload the payload ratings of many half tons. It just depends. And if you're going to go some serious long distances, this is right about that size. We're like, yeah, if I'm going to go through mountains and if I'm going to go all the way across the country, you might want to step your vehicle up. It just really depends. That's why we have local folks who can help answer that for you. Where do we even start on this? Fiberglass. Let's just start with the fiberglass. The biggest thing that you can see, they've adopted a high gloss fiberglass, like a Montana fifth wheel, basically. It, to me, standing here in person, I don't know how it reads on camera, but in person, it almost looks like a paint package on this thing. That's not an exaggeration. I've pointed out plenty of things that I don't like and tried to be fair. This is not the moment where I'm sacrificing my integrity. It just looks phenomenal to me. And it's also kind of easy to miss. They do have that full front stone guard. Like, it just blends right in, all milky smooth on this thing. It's got like a very light chocolate milk kind of look to it to me. Maybe I just like chocolate milk too much. I don't know. Drunken Uncle leash latch on the front here behind the power tongue jack and the propane tanks. We do have a fifth wheel style large front drop frame storage compartment with the magnet catches and slam latches and TV hookups. And they even include the little feed port in the bottom left there, so you can run your cable TV things out of there. We've got it's heated, ventilated down in here, aluminum frame bed system. They also include this little, I'm going to call it the fishing pole shelf up here, where all of your electronics and switches and everything are also located to be up out of the way. So shifting cargo can't accidentally smash, dash, and crash stuff. Like, just really, really smart, firing on all cylinders here. Cougar was one of the very few travel trailers that really went in on auto leveling, and it's remained an available piece of their puzzle for a lot of years, optional the last couple years. Enclosed, forced air heated, radiant barrier lined underbelly with thermostatic holding tank heaters and forced air outlets directly blowing not just into the belly, but also onto each individual holding tank. Most manufacturers don't do that last part. They also run their water lines along with their heat lines in their belly to help organically, passively heat those. Now, at a glance, you look at them and you almost want to criticize them for not putting a bigger awning on this thing, but it's a big awning. It's just a wide open side on a 30-foot RV. And that 30-foot, by the way, people ask it, is that, you know, the box or is that the whole length? I always try to publish what I call worst case scenario numbers. That's 30 foot 1 inch from the tip of the coupler to the back of the bumper, unless they've done something I don't know about. So I always try to give you, if you can handle that, you can handle anything below. We got a pretty decent angle here to see that 220 watt solar panel mounted up top there. Sorry, I can't speak. They put taller mounts on those though, so that it gets better airflow. The irony about a solar panel, an object that's designed to sit in the sun, is that they work better when they're not hot. So giving it that extra airflow underneath helps that solar package work much better for you. I do like these new kind of like slat plank. I think they're like composite plank steps or something like that. Like I like what they're doing right there. It just looks cooler to me and just feels like more dirt's going to keep on your campsite and less of it get flipped into the RV. First of all, the suspension package here. This is something that almost no travel trailers do. I can think of on one hand the number of travel trailers that have a good upgraded suspension like that. And I can fill that hand, but that's about it, you know. We've also got a anti-lock braking electronic anti-sway system, plus Goodyear tires that are also TPMS prepped. Now back here, if I'm not mistaken, I think in years past, they had a college kid mini fridge mounted directly above a little slide open griddle. The problem was if the griddle was in play, you couldn't really get to the fridge without like burning your arms like a chef. And you ever notice how chefs, when they pull back their sleeves, always have burn marks on the inside of their arms? It's because they're always getting burned grabbing stuff in a hurry, you know? This, though, by getting rid of that griddle, and they still have a gas grill quick connect, they've just gone to a larger fridge. I think that this is going to be more beneficial for more people. I would prefer to have the bigger fridge and just bring my own grill or griddle. I think that this was a really smart decision myself, but that's just me. I don't know. There is reverse travel elements in the taillights, and that's something that just the camera doesn't do justice to. When you see it in person, you're like, oh, yeah, no, I get it. They really do pump out some serious light. The ladder's built right on. If I'm not mistaken, 250-pound rated. Okay, here's an interesting thing. I noticed the spare tire's not a Goodyear, but the tires on the ground are. So that's one of those extra little details I always look for. I hope you never need this. But this is also people when they even people who tend to check the tire pressure of the tires on the RV, they often forget their spare. Remember to check the pressure on your spare tire, because if you have a blowout and it's doing you no good. Oh, speaking of problems, this power inlet is also a circuit analyzer. It's telling us that there's some kind of problem on the power pole that this thing is plugged into here in this. This once was a factory production facility. They've kind of repurposed it over into the sort of marketing showroom that we're looking at right now. But let's say that that was a park power post and you were plugged into it. It would tell you right away, hey, before you fry your camper, something's up. Now, that being said, I do personally still recommend a external circuit analyzer that you can check before you plug the RV in. I think that's just a smarter way to go. Now, I don't know if you noticed it, but just in front of the rear bumper, there was your kitchen gray tank outlet. So this RV does have two separate gray tanks. It does have two separate sewer hookups. At the time I'm recording this, the travel trailer Cougars are still using AccuSlide. At this point, over the last 2 years, they have been quietly changing all of their fifth wheels over to rack and pinion slide systems on their main decks. They're moving away from cable slides. I don't know for a fact if they're going to do the same thing with their trailers. It might be a year, it might be two, it might be never. I don't know. But I'm willing to bet that they're probably finally adopting that across the board. But you're thinking, well, why don't they just do it already? It's a massive engineer undertaking to change a slide system, especially changing to a rack and pinion system. Basically, they have to redesign the whole chassis from the ground up. That's a big, big deal. And I am guessing that's probably the direction they're heading. Now, I've been sweet on, if I say I've been sweet on Cougars for a while, that has not the connotations I'm looking for. There's a better way to begin that sentence, but I think you know what I mean. I enjoy what Cougar RVs have been doing for years now. I've been very partial to them. I've thought that Cougar 22MLS was like my personal favorite couples camping travel trailer for like almost maybe 5 years in a row. This thing is always really close to it though. Like if you can go the extra 3 feet over the 22MLS, this is a monster. This is a monster right here. I really like it. Or if you're like, I like the 22MLS, but I need privacy. Oh, this is your widget right here. Or if you look at the 22MLS and say, I don't want a bathroom in the kitchen. Oh, here you go, right here, once again. I'll leave you links in the video description to check for pricing and availability, whether you're curious or whether you're serious. And short of that, when you're ready, we're ready. Now, if you're like, man, I like this. Do they make this in a fifth wheel? They do. That's called the 23MLE. And you're like, yeah, but do they have one with a bed slide? They do. That's called a 260MLE. They've got all kinds of good versions of this, big, small, and in between. So if this is close but no cigar, they make one that is cigar. Yeah. Take care. Stay safe. Have fun. And happy camping, everyone. What an ending.